Welcome to this episode. Today, we had the honor of speaking with Professor Uday Devgan, a world-renowned cataract and refractive surgeon based in Los Angeles, former clinical professor at UCLA, and recognized as one of the top ophthalmologists in the United States. He's also the recipient of a record 5 surgical teaching awards and the founder of cataractcoach.com, one of the most influential platforms for surgical education, with over 2,500 videos and a global following. Enjoy the conversation, and don't forget to subscribe.
Are we good?
Everything good. Do you hear me well?
Claro que sí. Ándale pues.
Hola. ¿Cómo está?
Todo bien. La buena vida.
Wow, Professor Devgan. Honestly, I have to pinch myself. I'm so excited to be here talking with the cataract coach.
Oh, thank
Really?
you, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving me your time and consideration. This truly means a lot to me.
My pleasure. Well, I saw what you're doing. You're doing some great stuff.
Thank you.
I listened to your podcast with Neto Rosatelli.
Yeah.
Neto's my friend. He's like my medio romano.
Really?
He's the best.
He's so nice guy, very humble, very always willing to teach and give something of advice. And I think you're in the same channel, honestly, because when I see your videos and your post of cataract coach is like, oh my God, this is so easy to understand many things. I really appreciate your humbleness and your willingness to be here and giving me your time to discuss this project. It's a small project. I'm just starting just a few months ago, but having mentors like you really, really, really makes a huge difference.
How old are you?
I'm 34. 34
Oh,
years
you're a young
old.
man. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. What you're doing is very impressive. I'm really impressed. It's a big deal. But I'm recording on my own end also. I may use this content in the future for a cataract coach thing. If I do, I'll post a link to your podcast and your information too.
That will be amazing. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
So let me start with what may seem like an obvious question, honestly, but it's one of many questions that makes me curious about. And this question is, why did you choose ophthalmology, and what is about the specialty that continues to inspire you these days?
Ophthalmology was a surprise to me. So when I started medical school, I knew I like to study. Like most ophthalmologists, I'm a little bit of a geek or a nerd or a dork. I study a lot, and I love to learn. I love learning. And I first thought I'd do more involved surgery, neurosurgery, maybe skull-based surgery, ear, nose, throat, skull-based surgery. The paper I published in my first year of medical school was about otology, ear surgery, and neuro-otology.
Yeah.
But I just happened to do a rotation in ophthalmology. They said, okay, you have to choose some elective. I said, okay, I'll choose orthopedics. I want to learn a little bit because I like weightlifting. And I'll choose ophthalmology because if I'm going to do something in the head, neurosurgery, ENT, I better learn the eyes.
Well, completely opposite orthopedic and ophthalmology, right?
Right, very different. Very different.
Yeah.
But I said, I want to learn some ophthalmology. Let me learn at least the basics. Because as you know, in most medical schools, they give you maybe a few days or maybe 1 week of ophthalmology, and that's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the beauty was I saw a patient in our hospital here in Los Angeles. And I went to medical school at USC, University of Southern California, which is a big county hospital, like a charity hospital, free hospital. I saw a patient who came in with bilateral white cataracts. She had zero vision. And then she had a beautiful, elegant cataract surgery, phaco. And the next morning, they took her patch off. And she could see. And I thought, that is a miracle. That's 100% milagro. That's 100% a miracle.
Yeah. You're right. Completely restored vision, 100%. One of the few things that makes me also in ophthalmology, like feel the real change and the real, you make a very huge difference in people's life, honestly, by doing ophthalmology.
For sure.
And by now, cataractcoach.com is now, if not the most, certainly one of the most widely viewed and recognized platforms by ophthalmologists around the world. I have to tell you that I don't think there is a single academic setting where your college, I mean, I meet with some colleagues and don't end up saying, hey, I saw this on Cataract Coach. So I will happy to know how did it all begin? At what point in your career did you get the idea to start sharing your surgical knowledge in videos? I mean, I think it's something very. It gives me a lot of inspiration from the world of art or film that plays a role in this kind of work, because we have to be honest, it's a lot of work to do. You know, edit the videos, choose the patients, recording everything. So how it all began with Cataract Coach?
That is a great question. And you made two important points. The one was how did it begin, which I'll get to. But the second point was it's a lot of work to make a video. So
Yeah.
I would ask a young doctor, make me just one video. Get the video, edit the video, make a title slide, do a voiceover, render the video, upload the video, do search engine optimizing, put the keywords in, put the hashtags in. How long did it take you to do one video? I have done today 2,500 videos in a row, one every day. I have never missed a single day. That's a ton of work. But how did I even get started? If you look carefully on YouTube, there's some videos of me before Cataract Coach from almost 20 years ago. So there are a lot. I started putting videos up on YouTube about 20 years ago, and those were they were low definition, standard definition. So if you do pixels, 640 by 480. Whereas today, all my videos are high def, which is 1920 by 1080 is my minimum now. But I started putting up videos many, many years ago. And then sometime about 2018, I thought, I have so much great material out on the internet everywhere. It would be nice if it was all in one place. So I said, let's make a video. Let's make Cataract Coach. And I like the idea of coach because professor is one thing, and I'm not really a professor. I'm not in person with you. I'm not your boss. I'm not your chief. But a coach, I said, even the best tennis player, and in 2018, the best tennis player was Roger Federer.
Yeah.
And even in 2018, Roger Federer had a coach. And I thought, wait a minute. He can beat his coach at tennis, but he still has a coach. And that's because the coach gives you the advice from the little bit outside that sometimes you can't see yourself. So I said, let me make cataractcoach.com. And then the idea was, I said, let me make a video, every so often. And I said, maybe I could do one video a week. And then I said, you know what? No. I said, Uday, don't be lazy. Make a new video every day. Say yes and commit to it. And that's it. New video every day. Every day.
And how did you get this kind of that's amazing. I mean, I thought that you started doing like videos every once a week, for example, but I couldn't imagine doing a video like every day. And I feel lazy now because I'm not doing that every day. So
Cataract Coach, honestly, it's every day.
As I begin this small project myself, sometimes I need to be very honest with you in this. There are times when I feel so tired and so unmotivated, and all I want to do is go home and watch TV. So what advice would you give to young ophthalmologists like me who wants to share, what they know and keep learning from mentors like you? It's a lot of work, as we mentioned. Let's be honest, from editing the videos, choosing which ones to share, planning ahead. For example, sometimes before going to the OR, the cases that you're going to have that day. And sometimes I have in my mind, hey, I'm going to record this surgery, and then sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you hope, and you feel discouraged. So how do you stay motivated to keep going no matter what? doing a video every single day?
The problem with motivation is, I wake up and I say, today, I don't feel like going to the gym. Today it's Friday here in Los Angeles. I'm supposed to do today, after this call, bench press, which is my favorite, but also it's so heavy. The hardest part of lifting the weights is actually putting your foot in the gym.
Yeah.
Is actually going there. So I thought, for me, there's a difference between what's the motivation and what's the discipline. I don't have motivation because I'd rather just let me just relax, lie down, let me watch some TV, watch some Netflix, some HBO.
Yeah.
But discipline is, no, in my calendar today, it's 4 p.m., talk to David Perez Gonzalez. And 5:30 p.m. is weightlifting. I have to do it. I have to just do it. And so that's the issue, is how motivated are you is not as important as how disciplined are you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's admirable. But wow, it's very difficult sometimes. And I don't know if it's generational or something, but I really try to do sometimes my best. Like don't stop editing, don't stop, learning and doing. For example, um, I try to exercise myself every day, and I do it. But sometimes I just don't feel the courage to do it. So how do you get the point where you just do it? Because the hardest part, as you mentioned, is not waiting it's not doing the exercise. It's just having the intention to start doing the exercise at the beginning. That's the hardest part, honestly. Once that you start, you're going to finish. I mean, I want to do 3 push-ups. Once you do 3, you're going to do 4 and then 5 and then 10. You're going to finish the workout. So in your daily life, with your patients, with your clinic, with everything you have to do, so how did you manage this? How you keep this balance between the things that sometimes you're not feel motivated to do, as you mentioned, but you're still doing it, and things that you really want to do, like you really enjoy in your life? I think that's difficult to find a good balance in that.
We all have that struggle for sure. Absolutely. We have the same struggle. I just know me, and my confession is, to be very honest, I'm not the smartest person, especially among ophthalmologists. Ophthalmologists are really smart. And so the only way I could ever compete in my life was, I can work harder. So if I'm up against someone who's really smart, like my children are unbelievably smart. I was never as smart as they were, or they are. I make up for it by hard work, because I don't mind if I die. I will not let you work harder than me. And it's just that craziness in my head that I have to do that. So if you make me a bet now, just ask yourself one question. Of all the ophthalmologists you know, how many of them, if you said to them, make me a new 5-minute video, edited, voiceover, title slide, every day for 2,500 days in a row, never miss a day. Can you do it? I can do it.
Yeah.
I already did.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
No, I've already done it.
Yeah.
So it's just that work ethic. That's all it is. And you have to know yourself. I know that, for me, I'm smart, but not smart enough. But hard work, I will be top 1% for hard work.
Yeah,
and that's how I succeed.
That reminds me the Einstein phrase, like it's 99% hard work and 1% talent,
It's true. It really is true. Because when I was professor at UCLA here in Los Angeles for 22 years. The most award-winning professor in the history of UCLA. In fact, if you look here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teaching awards. Those are the apples up there. No other faculty member even has 2, but I have 5.
Wow.
And there are more than 100 ophthalmologists as faculty members. But why? Well, just because that's the determination. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Huge determination.
To be honest, again, that's all it is. And if it's something you want to do, I want to do this. I enjoy doing this. It's not that hard. But then things that are hard work, I enjoy. So even today, I'll go do bench press. And I'm very proud to say, and this is the absolute truth, I can bench press. In the US, we call it 225, which is 225 pounds, which is 100 kilos. I can bench press 100 kilos 10 times for 6 sets. No problem.
Amazing. And
And
Professor,
I'm 20 years older than you.
wow, yeah. I will start doing that. I promise. I will make a promise and to you and for me. I will start doing it from today. I will start doing press. But
you don't have to. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy.
But I think that in the process, you can get very happy and you can enjoy the process. I can tell by watching your work, your videos and everything, that I think you're enjoying all the process. And yes, you have all that prices above, but I'm literally, I can see that you're enjoying the process, and that's the most admirable thing to reach in life. I think enjoying the process. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about what happened yesterday. Just now, the process, what I'm doing today. Period.
100% true. Because you hear these things when you're younger, but sometimes you don't understand them. When I was your age, and you're about 20 years younger than me, when I was your age, I was dumber than a bucket of rocks. I didn't know anything.
Why?
This is the truth. It is 100% la verdad. Let me tell you for sure. That's 100% the truth. The reason is you really have to see that life is pretty short. Oh, I like your dog. Oh, what a beautiful dog.
She's amazing. All the time is sneaking and trying to watch out what I'm doing. Sorry about that.
No, it's all perfect. But you have to find what is your happiness, what do you enjoy, and remember, life is the journey, not the destination. For all of us, the destination is the same. That is death. Yeah. At some point, we'll all die.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not in a hurry to reach the destination. I want to enjoy the journey. Definitely. And that's why I want to enjoy every single day. Every single day I want to enjoy. Every year I want to enjoy. As we say, la vida es muy corta. Hágalo que lo haga feliz. Life is short. Do what makes you happy.
100%.
And you're surprised I speak some Spanish, huh?
You speak very good Spanish, honestly.
I'm from Los Angeles.
Yeah, there is a lot of Mexicans over there and Latinos, right? Have you ever attended patients in Spanish?
Claro que sí, por supuesto.
Todos los días.
So in my Beverly Hills clinic, not so much, but when I was professor at UCLA, we were in a county hospital, and there about 85% of the patients spoke Spanish only. So I never learned Spanish in school. I only learned it by listening.
En la vida. It's how we say. En la vida. En el día a día.
Yeah. But then the problem is, though, now my Spanish, if I go to other countries, my Spanish is not just Mexicano Español, but it's like American Chicano Español. So
yes,
it's very slangy.
It sounds amazing. I know that you speak Spanish because I saw one of your videos on Cataract Coach where you're explaining a catarata brunescente dura madura from one colleague. I don't remember who was the colleague that was sending that video. I think it was Barraquer. I don't remember. But you were narrating the video, the first 3 to 5 minutes of the video completely in Spanish. I was, oh my God. Professor Devgan speaks Spanish very good, and it sounds amazing. I remember that some of your followers, post in the video, please, Professor, do some videos on Spanish. It sounds amazing, and it does, honestly. And talking about patients, has was there ever a case in your, I mean, maybe during your residency or early in your career that made you question whether you were on the right path? How did you deal with that? Especially, I think that when we are learning, we prone to making mistakes. And, you know, even though that we don't mean to do that, the emotional consequences can hit us very hard. So how did you manage that emotion? Sometimes I feel when I was learning some, you know, surgery and doing my first phaco surgeries, my first cases, I, I did a lot of mistakes, you know, and sometimes you feel very bad with that. So how would be your advice to overpose that consequence in our mind? Because in real fact is that, you know, the intention is never there on the table. You know, you always want to do the good for the patients. You never want to do harm. But sometimes complications happen. So
even today, I've been doing cataract surgery or ophthalmic surgery for more than 25 years. Even today, if I have a case where it's less than perfect, even if it's 99%, I feel bad. Why didn't I get that extra 1%? I didn't do such a great job on this. Or I do a beautiful cataract surgery, but the Rex is still good. It's still round, but it's not perfect. And I feel a little bit bad for that.
yeah.
And that's a good thing. It means we hold ourselves to a high standard. We want to give the patient the absolute best every time, but it's not always possible.
Yeah.
From the patient perspective, the patient wants to know that you care about them and you'll put them first. My cataract surgery number 6, when I was, 27 years old or something. I'm doing this cataract surgery on this patient who's a very sweet guy. I won't tell you his last name, but his first name was Eduardo. I do Eduardo surgery. We divide the nucleus. I'm doing divide and conquer. I have a professor attending sitting next to me. Capsule breaks. We lose a part of the nucleus in the vitreous cavity.
Mm.
We finish the case. The patient has still a little bit of nucleus in the vitreous cavity now. We do the antivitrectomy. We suture the incision with. The patient's going to need pars plana vitrectomy, pars plana lensectomy. I feel so terrible that I can't sleep. That night when I go home, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
And later this week, 3 days later, the retina specialist does the vitrectomy, lensectomy. The patient is great. But it just shows you that the patient didn't blame me at all. He says, "Doctor, did you do your best?" I said, I said, "I did my best, but I'm just beginning at this." He says, "Don't worry." And the patient had a beautiful outcome. And then the surprise, here I was so mad at myself. But the patient said to me, "Thank you so much." I said, "Why? You have to have 2 surgeries in this?" And he says, "Because now I don't have any more floaters." Before he would see the PVD and the white string and the floaters, and now that he had a full vitrectomy and partial pars plana lensectomy, he says, "I have no floaters at all. I love you. They're the best." So it shows me the important lesson is, if it bothers you to have a complication, you're a good surgeon because you really care. And remember that if you put the patient first, even if they need a second surgery, they're going to be okay and they're going to do fine. And as long as you put the patient first, the patient's always going to appreciate it.
Definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Sometimes, when I used to have some complications, I didn't sleep also. I was frustrated. I mean, and completely sad. And, you know, my will to go back to the clinic the next day was like, why I'm going to the clinic if I'm so bad? I don't want to ruin another patient's eye, you know? But it's very true that at the end, you know, the idea that we have of the result is not so bad at the end. Sometimes, you know, when you worry, because and something you mentioned something very very great, that I think that Cataract Coach gives us and sharing videos in general. I mean, I was talking with Dr. Rosatelli also about this, and I think sharing the videos and be, open to, tell me what I'm not doing right in my video. I'm an open mind to being criticized in a good way to improve my technique. Like I was talking with Dr. Rosatelli about this. Like sometimes I feel very bad to do just divide and conquer and not feel comfortable to do chop, vertical chop, horizontal chop. Some of the videos that I have sent to you, to your channel, I'm doing divide and conquer because I didn't feel comfortable to do chop technique, And once I tried to do chop technique, and it was complicated the case. I was complicating the cases. I was having a lot of posterior capsular ruptures, and so I think it's very important that, as you mentioned, being very humble and very open to receive critics. I think the big mistake is not having mistakes, but not being aware that you're doing the mistakes and not being open that some other mentors will give you some advice. And I want to ask you, do you have a favorite hobby? What's your favorite hobby? What would you say is your favorite hobby?
Oh, I have so many things that I enjoy. Remember, because I'm older than you, my children are grown up and gone. I have two children. They're both in medical school, and they're both in their early 20s, and they don't live in Los Angeles, where I live. So I'm a free man. I can do whatever I want. So my hobbies are, number one, I love ophthalmology. I'm so crazy about ophthalmology. I have so many project companies in ophthalmology. You know about cataract coach and retina rounds and all that. Okay, fine. I have I'm involved with an accommodating IOL company called LensGen. I'll put on cataract coach, we have our robotic cataract surgery company called Horizon Surgical. We have another company, Advanced Euclidean Solutions, where we have patents in the US and around the world for the AI calculations of cataract surgery and other processes.
The LADA super formula, right?
That's one of the things. Yeah, but it's actually more than that. So we have all these projects to do. And then ophthalmology has been so wonderful to me that last year in 2024, in 1 year, I gave lectures in 21 countries in 1 year.
Wow. Wow.
So it's just like, I can't believe I'm living this life. This is a dream. This is a dream. And plus, on top of that, I have my own clinic, my own patients. I love doing surgery. I do surgery every week. This is fantastic. Now, outside of ophthalmology, I love, my hobby is weightlifting. Since I was a young guy, since I was maybe 18, 17 years old, I liked lifting weights. And I promise you, you have seen hundreds of videos of me operating unedited on Cataract Coach. I feature guest surgeons, but you also feature me operating. And I usually show you my videos unedited. I love to lift weights. That is my hobby. I have a gym in my house. It just makes me feel good. It clears out my brain. The stress of the weightlifting just makes me relax the rest of the day. So I like to travel, and mostly it's for ophthalmology, and I love to lift weights. Those are my hobbies.
Amazing. Amazing. And have you ever been in Mexico or not yet?
Oh, come on. So many. I'm in Los Angeles. It's so close. So many times. Many, many times. So
what's your favorite city in Mexico?
Listen, I like them all. I like them all. The problem is when I go to Mexico, this is the big problem with Mexico. If I go to Mexico, let's say I go to Mexico for a week, I'm going to come home 3 kilos heavier. All I'm going to do, the food is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's just, I can't help myself. And Los Angeles has great Mexican food. Only second to actual food in Mexico. Yeah. But I've been to other parts of the country, like my daughter is in school in Boston.
Yeah.
The Mexican food in Boston is terrible. This is not Mexican. She took me to Mexico. This is not Mexican food. What is this? This is terrible.
Yeah. It's like the like what they call the tacos, but it's not really like tacos, Yeah.
I know.
It happens a lot I was living in another country a few years back, and there was some restaurants like Mexican food, and then we're very happy, my wife and I, like, let's go have some Mexican food because we're missing a lot or native food. And then we went to the restaurant, and we were very sad, and very depressed, like, wow, this is not Mexican food at all. Yeah.
Right.
Amazing. So I promise if I go soon to LA, I will give you some Mexican food from Mexico. I know that in LA you have a very good restaurants and very good Mexican food, but it's always better the made home food,
Yeah. If you come to Los Angeles, you let me know. Let me show you my city. I will pick you up. I will take you out. Let me show you. This is my city. I've spent my whole entire life in Los Angeles. I didn't leave for school or university or residency or medical school. Everything for me is Los Angeles. This is all I know. When you come, you let me know. I will take great care.
No, thank you very much. I promise I will. Sure. I promise I will.
And then similarly, listen, if you invite me to Mexico for one of your meetings, I'm coming.
Yeah. I will. I promise I will invite you to one of the next meetings, and I will give you a tour whenever the meeting will be. Sometimes they choose Cancun, sometimes Mexico City, sometimes, I don't know. Whenever city they choose, I promise I will give you a tour.
Estoy listo.
Vamos a hacerlo. Profesor, una pregunta más.
Bueno, you can have as many questions as you want. Don't worry.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions, but I hope there will be time to do all the questions.
For you, whatever you want. Don't worry.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What do you think about in this era of technology? How do you see the artificial intelligence impacting us as a doctors and learners? Do you think it's a valuable tool, or could it make us more passive or detached from learning?
I think we should always embrace new technology. We should welcome the new technology.
Yeah.
Look back 10 years, 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah, the cell phones.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. But remember this. I mean, when we talk about surgical video, how do you learn from surgical video?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the godfather. The godfather, El Padrino, is Bob Osher. Is Bob Osher, right? For sure.
Yeah.
And he started with VHS tapes. I mean, old school. And then DVDs. And then now we're on internet and video. And now all my videos are going to be on your phone here in high definition. Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
But the same thing with surgery. Do you want to go back to radiokeratotomy, or do you want excimer laser? Oh, I want excimer laser. Do you want the first generation of broad beam excimer laser? No. I want the modern, new flying spot, 500 hertz excimer laser. Okay. So same with any other new technology that's coming. You always need the surgeon, because what the machine cannot do is the machine cannot have surgical judgment or responsibility.
Yeah.
When I go, last year I flew to so many countries. 100% of the time on the airplane, when I fly across the ocean, one way or the other, Pacific or Atlantic, there's autopilot. So, but why do I need a human pilot? Because there's autopilot, right? Well, you do. Because the human pilot has judgment, and the human pilot can actually help interpret what's going on here. Now, there are certain things that the machine can do better than the human pilot, but you still need the human pilot. So same with surgery. Today, if you perform LASIK today for a patient,
yeah,
let's say you use a femtosecond laser to make the flap, then use an excimer laser for the ablation. But you still need to have your judgment. How is the cornea? What's the pachymetry? What's the posterior float look like? Is it regular? Is it okay? Is it healthy? Can you do the LASIK? What size optical zone should you use? What ablation do you want? How much refract? Do you want to aim for plane? Do you want to aim for a little bit of minus? Aim for a little bit of plus? What do you want to do here? So technically, what did you do for LASIK? When I do a LASIK, technically, I set up the eye with a femtosecond laser. The femtosecond laser does the whole flap.
Yeah.
I go to the excimer laser, I lift the flap. The excimer laser does the ablation and tracks the eye at 500 hertz. I put the flap down, and that's it. But if you think that the machine did all the work and I was just there to watch, you're wrong. Because I had the surgical judgment and the surgical supervision. And you can't lose sight of that. So don't worry. Embrace the new technologies. In fact, even better, be a part of the new technologies. How come an old guy like me with gray hair and losing a lot of hair is involved with a patent for AI of lens calculations, but you're not?
Yeah.
You need to do it.
Yeah,
And this is why I
right.
want to be your coach. Remember this, your coach is not really your friend, because your friends accept you as you are. Your friends say, no, David, you're good. You're the best. Your coach says, no, David, you're good, but you could be better. You need to work harder. You need to fix this. And that's the goal. I want the young surgeons to be better. The other purpose of cataract coach, by the way, I want to democratize or equalize surgical learning. As long as I'm alive, there will be no secrets in anterior segment surgery. I will teach all the secrets no matter what. I'll give away everything. Have it.
Amazing.
Right?
Yeah, it should be like that, honestly. I'm some people will see me like a weirdo sometimes because I share my few tips that I have, in retina surgery. And but I think that's the way we should go, honestly. There's no other way. I think that's the way we should go. And it really helps me that you are telling me that, honestly.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
That's la verdad, my friend. That's the truth. I don't want to have any secrets anymore. So if you look on Cataract Coach, like there's certain cases that I do a lot of. Like in 1 year, I'll do a few hundred cataract surgeries on radial keratotomy patients. They come to me every week. I have multiple. I make a video. Here's the secret. Here's how to do the surgery. Here's how to measure the cornea. Here's how to do the lens calculations. Here's how to do the IOL selection. Everything. I will teach you everything. As long as I'm alive, there will be no secrets in anterior segment surgery. I'm teaching everything. Give away all the secrets. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
And that's why, because sometimes we're lucky. I was very lucky. I trained for residency at UCLA 20 plus years ago. And it was great. There were amazing people. I got such a good education. I got a lot of hands-on experience. But you may be in a different country, a different part of the world. You say, well, I didn't get too much surgery and my professor didn't teach me this. I'll teach you everything. And I'll teach you every day. And I'll do it for free.
That's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. And how did you find, or how did you manage the balance between the official website of cataractcoach.com and the videos? I mean, you write everything by yourself, right? All the articles, everything in the webpage. It's you, only you.
No, you're correct. So I'm in Los Angeles. So Hollywood, Beverly Hills, right here. I can hire tomorrow. I can hire 1 or 2 or 3 people who are professional video editors.
Yeah.
But the problem is, what do they know about cataract surgery or eye surgery? If I give them a 30-minute video of a very complicated anterior segment surgery, and I tell them, okay, get this video, edit it down to 5 minutes, they cannot do it.
Mm-hmm.
They know what a capsular X is. He's a video editor.
Yeah.
So I have to edit the videos myself. That's the problem with this. It's a lot of work. No one other than me. I edit 100% of the videos I feature. 100%. and then I do the voiceover. And by the way, I do the voiceover. I usually do it in one take. So a lot of times you'll hear me in the video. I'll say, "Hey, I'm watching the video for the first time with you."
Yeah, exactly.
So what I do is I'll see a video and I'll click through just a couple clicks. Click, click, click. Looks like a good video. I don't want to watch it all right now. Let me use that video for the future. And then the first time I watch it, I'll do the voiceover. So I'm watching it fresh. And so I don't have it. I don't know what's coming. I don't have any surprise. I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And then what you can hear to my voice when I do the voiceover, I enjoy it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
And now YouTube is so good. Now, just started recently, YouTube now will allow multiple audio tracks. So I've enabled this new feature so I can record the video. Obviously, I'll do my voiceover in English, but it'll do it in Spanish, French, a whole bunch of other, like 7 languages. You can click over on the settings wheel, and it'll do it in that language.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
It's a part of YouTube. It just started.
Amazing. Wow. But please do one in Spanish soon.
I'll try, but the problem is I'm a little embarrassed about my Spanish because my Spanish is okay, but I'm used to talking to patients, not talking to surgeons.
Yeah.
Like I'm not quite like every time I see like I will always say IOL, but no, you'll say LIO.
Yeah. LIO.
Let the interrogare. So, I was in Italy like a month ago giving lectures in Italy, and there they say LIO, but let the interrogare.
It sounds very similar to Spanish. Yeah.
Right.
And talking specifically about speaking, I've noticed how much the way someone speaks can make a very huge difference. And I think your narration style in your videos, as you mentioned, grabs people's attention immediately. Do you think that came naturally to you, or it's something you have worked on and improved over time? How would you suggest others can develop these kind of skills? Because I believe that you can be incredibly smart, but communication is essential to making your ideas heard and understood. So, I mean, when I have done some videos, some voiceovers of videos of retina surgery in Eyesight Academy. And at the beginning, when I started recording my voice, the first videos, I heard myself and I was like, oh my God, who's this guy who's speaking? I mean, this guy sounds so boring, so horrible, so without life. I mean, but I was thinking when I was recording my voice that I was, doing great. And then when I do that feedback, listening to me again in the video, it sounds horrible. And I have noticed, that after a few more videos, I compare the first video that I recorded and the last video that I made, and there is a huge difference, in the way that I speak, in the way that I overcome all the steps of the video. So when my first approach was, because I sound too bad in my own voice, I will use some music background so it will kind of, not be so horrible to hear. But cataractcoach.com, you don't use music; it's only your voice, and it catch your attention since the intro, like cataractcoach.com, that sounds is like immediately I turn over. That's a video that I know,
Yeah.
So it's something that you think that it's, in your veins, or it's something that you learn to do it, or what would be your advice to do this in a better way for people that want to share information, in congresses, in lectures? It's not only about YouTube, and it's not only about social media, but I think it's very important in a conference, for example, when you go to a congress and you hear a very smart guy that is giving you something incredible in information, but you hear the guy and you feel bored, you feel unmotivated, you don't feel the attraction to hear what he has to say. So what would be your advice in this?
Like anything else, With time, you get better. If I show you video of my phaco number 20 and you compare to my phaco number 2000, you say, wow, what an improvement. Well, because you keep practicing, you do it over and over again. The other thing is, I've been very humbled by my children. Again, now they're young adults, but I'm used to my kids telling me, Dad, you don't know anything. You're very embarrassing. Please stand away from me. This is the truth. This is the absolute truth. And so that taught me, like, okay, let me just be me. Let me not put on a show. So if you listen to the old cataract coach videos, the first 100 or 200 cataract coach videos, they're okay, but it's a lot more subdued. I'm trying to be very, very professional here. And now you listen to my cataract coach videos, I say, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Don't do this. I'm a lot more animated.
Yeah.
And so now, honestly, the truth is, I'm just being me now. I'm not trying to be a professor. I'm not trying to be professional. I'm just trying to be me. This is who I am. I'm going to tell you honestly, if you did a bad job in the surgery, let me make it to anonymous and take your name off it, put anonymous, and let me be very honest and very truthful. So if you watch a cataract coach video, you can be 100% sure I will give you the truth.
Yeah.
Even if it's not good. And by the way, I show my own complications. Go to Cataract Coach, you can see me dropping the nucleus. I will show you. It's 100% of the complications I have in surgery, I put on Cataract Coach. Now, the truth is, to be honest, I've done so many surgeries, tens of thousands of surgeries. My complication is pretty low. But anytime I have an unusual case or complication, I 100% post a video.
Yeah.
100%. Because that's how we're going to learn. And I learned that from Bob Osher. Bob Osher became famous. Why? He didn't show his beautiful cases. He showed the complications. In fact, on Cataract Coach, people send me videos every week. I get about 50 videos every single week. And if you really want your video to be shown, send me a complication. You know which video I won't show? If you say, look how good I am. I did a fake in 3 minutes. Delete.
Yeah.
Delete. Get
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah. The
But if you
ego
say,
is not there. Yeah.
Right. If you say, here, I had a complication and here's how I recovered, or I had a complication and it didn't go so well, but then the retina surgeon saved me the next week. Okay, we'll learn together.
Yeah, that's true.
But to answer your question, basically, like anything else in life, you get better and better. And the more you can just be yourself, the better you're going to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. To remove that mask and shame of showing who you are, when you're talking, when you're speaking, when you're narrating the videos, doing the voiceover, everything. It happens to me, I think every time that I hear myself in a new video, I think that I'm doing a little bit better, It's not like 100% progress. Of course, it's not day-night progress, it's like, I have been doing these videos for about 1 year till now, and it's not a lot of time, but now I really notice the difference comparing the first video to the last video, and when just to let you know, if I will of course send you a lot of more videos that I have to cataractcoach.com and now to the the rounds, it's amazing channel, by the way, and I'm not. I completely agree to show my name, and if I have that complication, if I do something wrong, I'm not afraid to be, to point the finger on me like, David, you need to do it much better. You did this movement, it was not nice. Better the next time do this and do that. It is the only way that we can learn, because if we post the video to, put our ego here, like, hey, look my video, look how wonderful surgery I made, I don't think that really works, because if I want to see a very beautiful surgery, I will see one of your surgeries, one of Neto Rosatelli's surgeries, one of any other mentors who has a lot much more experience than what I have. So I'm not afraid if I send you a video the next time and you accept to post the video with David Perez Gonzalez from Mexico in capital letters, say all the bad things about that video. I will be more than happy with that. I will be very confident that there is still something that I need to improve, because que aburrido, don't having anything else to improve. It's like, then why I'm sending the video? Why I'm sending the video.
I agree 100%. I'll tell you, what I really admire about you? So today, this morning, I was doing some work on my laptop and I looked over to my Insta, and I'm not big on, I post every day automatically. If you notice, all my posts come automatic at the same time.
Yeah.
So every day at 2 a.m. Pacific time in the USA, which is 5 a.m. East Coast time in the USA, that's where the new video goes to Cataract Coach, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. It's all automated. But I just happened to be on Instagram, and you posted it. You sent me a message. I replied back and said, "No, I do it with email. Don't mess me on here. Email me." And you emailed me immediately. And you said, "Can you do this with me?" And I said, let me see. How about today? Let me see. How serious is this guy? How about today? You said, "Sure, done."
Yeah.
That's unusual. But that's unusual. And obviously you've sent me videos before, and obviously I admire the work that you do. But you're like you're like me 20 years ago, but a better version of.
Wow.
So no. Whatever you think I've achieved in life, I promise you'll do better. I'm not that special. And if you have any doubt, ask my kid. They'll say, "Dad, you're not that special." In fact, no. We're all different. The important thing is I'm not competing against anyone else.
Yeah.
Your previous podcast that I watched online was Neto Rossatelli. Neto's like he's like my brother, medio hermano. He's like my half brother.
Hermano, yeah.
He's an amazing guy. He has surgical skill like he's Superman. I'm a regular human. He's Superman.
Yeah.
Even if I practice for 100 years, I will not be as good surgically as he is. I'm top 1% for surgical skill. He's number one on the planet.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. But the beauty is, I don't have to compete with him. That's not my goal. But I can always still learn from him. Yeah. And I do learn from him. And the little pearls he teaches in his video, amazing. So my advice to you is, I don't feel threatened by him. If you compare skill for skill, please, he's better, no question.
Yeah.
But that's not my goal. I compete with myself. Yeah. And by learning from him, I'm a better version of me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the key.
That's the key. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this. When you replay my message on Instagram, I never thought before like sending you an email. I think that sometimes he answered me by Instagram, so I hope he will see my message and he will answer me this invitation on Instagram. So when you send me the reply like, "Hey, let's send me an email," I was like, right now there is no other option. If I'm not doing it today, when I'm going to be able to do it? If I'm not able to organize my day today, I will not be able to organize it anyway tomorrow. So my goal with this is not competing with anyone. I'm not competing, as you mentioned. I want to learn from you. I want to learn what you have to say to me, and make this public to everyone else to hear, and learn. Lo hacemos para todos, no solo para mí.
Exactly.
And the same with Dr. Rossatelli. When I messaged him and he agreed to make this podcast, I was like, Dr. Rossatelli, I will never be as good as you are in surgery. I'm not trying to reach that point. It's like, I hope so. I will make my best effort to do it every day. But if I'm comparing with him, like he's doing a cataract surgery in just 2 minutes, I'm not doing a cataract surgery in just 2 minutes. It doesn't really make sense to me. If I'm doing a cataract surgery in 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, but the result is going to be okay. That makes sense to me, you know. But I'm trying to I admire that part of Dr. Rosatelli. I admire that part of Professor Uday Devgan. You know, like they're doing all this work, all this hard work, that they have a bunch of things to do, and still they giving me a chance to talk with them, you know, in this space. So that's, for me, it's admirable, and I really appreciate that you're doing that today. Believe me.
The reason is when we look at a young ophthalmologist, we see that little bit of spark, that little bit of energy. When I was your age 20 years ago, I was not as good as you, not even close.
I think you were.
No, please. I know the truth. Believe me, I know me. So I see that energy, that spark, that seed. You could be, you will be amazing in the future. You're amazing now, but even better in the future. And the beauty is because here's how I could tell. You have the drive and determination, and you have the thirst for learning. You want to learn more. Teach me, teach me, teach me. Show me, show me. How can I be better? And that is the driver that makes you be an absolutely world-class surgeon. And then again, even Neto's, he's such an amazing guy. He's so sweet, so humble. But remember, I don't compete with him. If I'm, think about this. People always understand this analogy. In Hollywood, you could have all the top actors, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Cruise, Jim Carrey, whoever. They're not going after the same roles. They each have a different role. You can't put Jim Carrey in Mission Impossible. No, that's for Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own spot. So I don't have to compete with anyone else. I compete with myself. And that's the beauty of it. And honestly, Neto's surgeries are unbelievable. He's probably the first cataract surgeon who, in his lifetime, will do pretty much 1 million phacos.
Yeah.
1 million phacos in a human life. That's unbelievable. Think about that. I mean, the way he operates now, right? You do the math. At least 500 cases a week. So 20,000 in a year, maybe probably 25,000 phacos in a year times 40 years. There's 1 million phacos.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But then again, if you or someone else is doing my phaco, I'm thankful, but please, can you add an extra minute or two and just polish the capsule? And can you make the rexus perfect? Like I put a video on Instagram I put a picture on Instagram very recently. I did surgery for a fellow ophthalmologist. She flew in from another state, came to the U.S., came to California. I did her phaco, and she said, please make my rexus perfect. And I made a rexus, and it was just perfect. And you know what? Normally, I grab the rexus 1, 2, 3, done.
Yeah.
For her, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But it was just perfect.
Just perfect, yeah.
So David, in the future, when you do my phaco, make my rexus perfect, and take an extra minute or two. I don't mind. Take your time. But I want a video. I want to see the video.
Great. I promise.
But I think that's the fun in ophthalmology. We are so lucky. Every day I wake up, I think, I am so lucky. I'm so fortunate to be an ophthalmologist. What a blessing in life. And in the USA, we only train like 450, maybe 500 ophthalmologists for the whole country per year. And I got to be one of those? Oh, I'm so thankful.
Yeah. 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 I don't know how many ophthalmologists
it's a blessing.
I mean, not too many. Not enough, honestly. We need more ophthalmologists every day, and good ones, willing to learn.
Well, that's why you and I together and Neto, we're all together teaching the whole future. We're teaching everyone.
Yeah.
And that's why I love your videos too, because you put the effort. Like, no, you the way I operated when I was 34 is very different than the way I operate now at 54. I got better. But you got to show everything.
Yeah.
And that's how we progress our surgical skills.
Does Professor Uday Devgan listen to music in the OR, or you prefer not to put music in the OR?
Absolutely quiet. No music. No. The only talking in the operating room is about that patient. While I'm doing surgery, don't say, "Hey, how was your weekend? What do you want to have for lunch today?" No. I put myself in my patient's place. If I'm the patient having surgery, don't listen to music. Focus on me. Don't talk about what are you having for lunch today? How was your weekend? No. Focus on my eye surgery, because it may be 5 minutes for the surgeon or the staff. For me, this vision is the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So here's my secret. Let me tell you my number one secret to being successful in practice. Number one, this is it. I give the same surgery and the same treatment that I want to receive.
Yeah.
If I'm the patient, I want this. I want the best of the best of the best. I don't want you to don't start dancing the music. Don't talk about your lunch. Don't talk about the weekend. I want you to focus on my surgery. I want the instruments freshly sterilized. I want the best. Don't use a steel blade for me. I want a diamond keratome. I want the Rexes perfect. I want you to minimize the phaco energy in the eye. I want you to clean up the capsular bag real nicely. I want the best.
Yeah.
And I give every patient the same surgery that I want for my eye.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense, you know? Makes sense.
So for me, no music.
Nice. You know, sometimes I do use music in the OR, but what I do when I put some music in the OR, I ask the patient first, you know, would you like some music for your cataract surgery while I'm operating in your eye? And many patients will say yes, and I ask them, what you want to hear? I mean, don't focus on what I want to hear. What do you want to hear? Do you have, Vicente Fernandez,
Yeah.
or whatever, but put this kind of music in while you are operating on my eye. And then I do it, and it turns out very nice. The patient has a much better experience, because sometimes I think music can give you kind of flow while you're doing some other activities, while you're doing exercise, while you're doing something, but I have never put it completely till you're mentioning this right now, like being focused on the patient, as you would like that your surgeon will focus if you were the patient,
Right.
Like every minute counts, because one is taking ophthalmology, one is taking every step. It's not reversible. It's a funny thing about ophthalmology that I have noticed. If you rule out the rexis, there is no coming back from that. You can fix it. You can end in the case, but you will never have a perfect rexis again. And the same with incision, the same with the IOL placement, the same for everything, So in that kind of flow that I have in the OR, I'm focusing every step, like now I'm not thinking if I'm putting the trocar and I'm going to start the phaco-vitrectomy, and focus right now in putting the trocar into the eye, not focusing in the next step, and it gives me a lot of meditation. It's like I'm focusing in the present moment.
For sure. It depends also on the surgeon. So when I was growing up, and I was in school, in medical school, and in university, and high school, I like to study when it's quiet.
Yeah.
I had friends who would always listen to music while they're studying, but I could never do that. I can't listen to music and study at the same time. I like to just study when it's quiet, like in the library.
Yeah.
So that's how I like to operate when it's quiet, like the library. If you grew up always studying with music in the background, then maybe you like music in the operating room. But that's just not for me.
Yeah. But I think that even if you like that, I think you can ask the patient first, always.
Right. For sure.
The patient doesn't really like the music, because they they feel like you're not giving the respect that they deserve. It happens to me sometimes. Sometimes when I was in the residency and some of the anesthesiologists used to play some music in the OR, some of the patients feel discouraged, like they feel that you're not paying enough attention to the situation that they're going to suffer at the moment of the surgery.
I agree with the patients. Actually, if I'm the patient, I don't want music in the operating room. I don't want you to talk about how was your weekend, what are you having for lunch today.
Yeah.
I want you to focus on my surgery because, like I said, for you it's 5 or 10 minutes. For me, it's the vision I'm going to have the rest of my life.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I take it very, very seriously. I want to give the best to my patients, and if I'm the patient, I want the best.
Yeah, of course. And what would you prefer on your eyes, multifocal or monofocal IOL?
Well, my friend, see, I'm different than you. You're a young man with plenty of accommodation. So if you look at me here, I'm a -2 sphere, and I have very little accommodation left. I'm presbyopic. So I love to be -2. And in fact, even in my glasses, I'm only wearing -175 because I don't like the full correction. I don't want it too sharp. So if you do my IOL and I'm +1/4, I will hate you.
Yeah.
But if I'm -1/2, I think you're great.
Yeah.
So what I would choose, I still want to be myopic. It's what I'm used to. Remember this. I think patients have a refractive error on their brain. If you're a myopic patient, -2, -5, -10, you'll always be happier -0.5 instead of +0.5. Always.
Yeah.
If you're a hyperope and your adult life, let's say you're age 50 or 60 years old and you're +3 or +4 for hyperopia for distance, if I make you +0.5, you'll love me. If I make you -0.5, you'll say it's not clear.
Yeah, it's like the brain works in that area of refraction.
Right. So remember, even now at -2 spherical, I don't want to wear -2. It's too strong. I like 175. That's better. It's like I don't need to see 1,000 meters away. It's okay. I want to see here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also my work. Remember, my job is I don't throw a baseball for a living. I don't drive a truck for a living. I don't really care what's 100 meters away. I don't care. My work, my life is here.
Yeah.
If I'm in my 50s and I can sit on my laptop all day long with no glass, this is a blessing.
Yeah.
And my laptop is not even a meter away. My laptop's maybe like, what is this, 30 centimeters?
Yeah. Amazing.
I love it.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. I ask you this because we put in context how important it is to hear the patient. Professor, there are so many more questions I would love to ask, but I know that you have things to do. You are a very busy man, and I really appreciate that you're giving me your time now. So
Pleasure.
To wrap up, what is one final piece of advice that you will offer to young ophthalmologists who are still learning?
Most important thing of all, be your own toughest critic.
Yeah.
You should be harder on yourself than anyone else is. I'll tell you a funny joke. A friend says to me, would you take this bet? You get $50, but the person you hate the most gets $100. Would you take the deal? I said, for sure. I'll take the $150 right now. Because no one hates me more than I hate myself. Meaning, in all joking aside, I'm my own toughest critic. Every day I think, you were okay, but you could have been better. You could have done better. And so that's what motivates me to be just every day I've got to be better. And so if you're your own toughest critic, you may think, oh, look, he's done 2,500 videos. He's so good. No, I see better. I need to do better. I put a video of me doing a surgery. Look at that. What a beautiful surgery. It was so I think, no, but I could have done this better and that better. And I want to improve. So by being your own toughest critic, you have the drive and determination to always keep improving. And that's the key. And by being your own toughest critic, you not only keep improving, you keep learning. Because remember this, and this something young people never understand this. What you learn in your residency, your fellowship, is great. But it's not what you're going to do in 10 years, and for sure not what you're going to do in 20 years.
Right.
Ophthalmology keeps changing, keeps evolving. The cell phone you get today is going to be nothing in 10 years. And in 20 years, it's going to be less than zero.
Yeah.
Your surgical knowledge is the same way. What you learn now is great, but in 10 years, it's not going to be enough. So if you have to commit to being better every day and keep learning and be your own toughest critic. And if you do that, I promise, like you will certainly exceed me. No question.
Wow. Hermoso. Amazing. Really. It's just so good, Professor Devgan. Thank you again. I sincerely, I mean, I really appreciate your taking the time to be part of this small project I'm just beginning, and I truly believe that mentors like you, who are so generous enough to share their knowledge and break down barriers, make a real difference in the field. I think that that's the ultimate purpose of all. I think that's the goal. And I am so deeply grateful that you're now part of this journey that I'm just beginning a few months ago in this podcast. It's so, so, so amazing for me. I need to pinch myself, I have an episode with the cataract coach, it's just an amazing. So I sending you a big hug. I truly hope that we can continue collaborating on more projects and of course videos in the future on cataract coach and visiting LA and giving tours, and you visiting Mexico and giving tours and doing a lot of funny stuff in this life, because I think that enjoying the here and now is the only thing that we have. So I hope that you keep doing what you're doing. I really admire you, and I really feel grateful that you're teaching me now, giving me a private master class here in this episode, and just still motivated as you are today. And I really hope to grab and keep grabbing that motivation for me. And I
will for sure.
I can spread that motivation to whoever wants, I'm open free to that.
You'll do it for sure. The new generation, let me tell you the truth. The new generation is going to be so much better than my generation. So much better, because what took me 10 years to learn by making mistakes, with video now, you can learn in 1 year.
Yeah.
If you commit to say, you know what, I will watch a video every day. Yeah. Oh my God, what you will learn is amazing. So I promise your generation will look back on me and say, oh my God, that was like the baby step. That was the beginning. That was nothing. Now we show who we are now. Believe me, I'm just a stepping stone. You're going to do even bigger and better things. I have no doubt.
You're always, maybe that's going to happen, but you will always going to be, the mentor, one of the mentors, at least for me, that inspired me to do that thing in the future. So let's never forget. Let's not be enough grateful for what we have today, and having this opportunity of open the doors for the next generations and all that stuff. That's amazing. But never forget the mentors that we have on our way. That's how we learn how to keep going in the same path, and not being discouraged, and not, lose the willingness to keep going on this path. That it's not easy. Medicine is not easy. Ophthalmology is not easy. Patients are not easy. So these kind of things, believe me, Professor Devgan, are the things that really switch my mind in a very positive direction. So I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, my friend. What a pleasure to be here with you.